official week 1 of the college football season, and that will include a lot of orange in Atlanta, guys, as the Syracuse Orange takes on the Tennessee Volunteers to open things up there at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. As we know, a beautiful venue, one that often houses some of the best college football games every single year. Gerhard, and listen, we're going to have a pretty neat guest here on Southeast Sports Plus. We're super excited to welcome a friend of the show, Moose, joining us from New York City, Marc Malusis. How's it going, Marc? Thanks so much for your time, man. I know it's a busy time.
Yeah, Simone, Gerhard, what's going on, guys? Yeah, happy Friday, Labor Day weekend. College football's upon us, and NFL right around the corner. So good stuff all the way around.
Yeah, no doubt, Marc. I know that you wear a lot of hats over there. Of course, the sports guy there for PIX11. You're a longtime radio host there in New York City. Give us a little bit of your background. Of course, you're joining the show to talk about Syracuse. You're a graduate of Syracuse, the Orange. But what I know you balanced a lot of things there in New York City. But give us a little bit of a rundown.
You name it, I've done it.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest with you, over the course of my career, when I graduated Syracuse, started out in radio working on WFAN and then still work there to this day, doing part-time radio.
Nice.
I've been was a producer for Mike and the Mad Dog, and worked with them for the better part of 7 years. So, I've worked Super Bowls, Final Fours, World Series, done a number of different things, and then started working for SNY, which is the RSN for the New York Mets, and then got an opportunity to work at WPIX to be their lead sports anchor about 3.5 years ago, and I've been there since. So it's been great. It's been fun. Done a number of different things. New York through and through, born and raised, and went to school in upstate New York, and now obviously work in NYC.
Yeah, I love it. Marc, obviously, I wasn't here on the show for the last couple of days, and the reason being because I got to be there in New York City, meet you in person, kind of see the operation, see the digs there in New York City at PIX, and you guys really, really do a great job. I want to talk to you about college football. The minute that I was like, the wheels started turning is how can we get Marc on the show? How can we get Moose on the show immediately? And that's why I recruited you to come on Friday or today before we're ahead of this Saturday game. When you look at this matchup, what are your thoughts on just these two teams, kind of where they are going into the year and the expectation level for Syracuse and Tennessee?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think first off, from a Syracuse perspective, it's like kind of the transfer portal team and the job that Fran Brown has done trying to get Syracuse back to where they were when I was going to school there, and they had Paul Pasqualoni and 44 meant something, and they had impact players, and you had McNabb and Marvin Harrison and Quentin Spotwood, and the defensive players getting drafted early on in the NFL draft. It was a really good time. They were predominantly ranked in the top 25, fell short about getting Michael Vick. He ended up going to Virginia Tech because he didn't want to follow in the footsteps of DNAB up there in Syracuse. So it's been a while. They've gone through many different coaches, many different regimes, athletic directors, and now I think they've gotten a super aggressive head coach in Fran Brown that has been a recruiting maestro wherever he has been an assistant. Last stop before the Syracuse job was down in the SEC at Georgia, and everyone knew when he got the job at Syracuse that he was going to go out there and attack. And I think they've got money to spend, obviously, in the world of NIL. And, you see in their starting quarterback was the former Golden Domer who won the starting quarterback in Steve Angeli. And then you look at it up and down the line, whether it be the offensive line, whether it be the receiving room, whether it be the defensive secondary. He's got a recruit from Georgia. I think it's a Syracuse team that might take a little bit of time to find itself in 2025, but there's no doubt the influx of talent and the impact of Fran Brown.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask about Steve Angeli, and it's a good nickname here we might pass along towards the end of this interview that one of our friends has for him. But with me, Kyle McCord last year walks in, and then he has this phenomenal year. Throws for over 4,000 yards. Do you expect the offense to look similar this year, considering McCord came in and was almost, immediate as far as his success goes? Do you expect the same thing for Steve Angeli under Coach Fran Brown in the second year?
Yeah, listen, I think that's why, it was like 4 or 5 months ago that they brought him into the program, right? So, and he got named the starter about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. So it's been a little bit of a quarterback battle with an LSU transfer that came in, both with 4-star recruits coming out of high school. And yeah, I think Syracuse is going to attack. Now, you look at it, a little bit of an experience when you're looking at the receiver room, lack of accomplishments there. Running backs, not a ton of experience there, not without talent and ability. But This is going to be a building block phase when you look at it. There's no doubt when Angeli got an opportunity at Notre Dame, he can throw it. Now he's going to get an extended opportunity with Syracuse. And I think those are the kind of the guys that the Syracuse program at this stage of the building process for Fran Brown are looking for, guys that maybe lost out on starting quarterback opportunities or lost out on opportunities to play someplace else. Well, you've got talent. We're going to give you an opportunity to go out there and play right away and prove whether or not you can sink or swim on the college level. But do I expect this offense to go out there and push it? Yeah, maybe not to the extent of McCord, because I think coming from Ohio State, he was clearly a guy that can go out there and throw it. There was criticism that when he left Ohio State, entered the transfer portal, that he didn't go to a better program than the Syracuse Orange, but he had a really bang-up year last year. I expect the Syracuse offense to try and push it down the field and be super aggressive.
Yeah, I know that we have some sound from Fran Brown. Let's listen in to Coach as the Orange gear up for the Volunteers.
I don't want to give nobody else ammo to be happy about us playing them. Us happy to play. Man, we happy to play football. Y'all could have put rowing on the schedule, and we was going to make sure that we practice the same way. I'm going to be the same person all the time. I'm motivated that Mr. Wildhack picked me to be the head football coach here, and I get to represent the S. I get to go out and speak for Syracuse, for who they are and what the tradition of this program has been, right? Just for all the people that were here before us, right? Kyle Federer always talked about, we stand on the shoulders of the people before. So without all the people that was already here, all the hard work they put in for me, having the opportunity of having Keith Bullock here all summer, Dwight Freeney here this summer, being able to call Marvin Harrison and talk to him about things that's why I'm motivated to make sure that we play well. That's why I'm motivated to make sure that we do things the right way. But I don't think, with all due respect to every team, I'm self-motivated. There's a lot of individual goals that I have in my life for myself. There's a lot of team goals that we all have. So for us as a team-wise, we want to win a national championship. So that's what motivates us first and foremost, right? And as long as we do everything as a team and we stay consistently focused on DART and we keep our core values before our personal goals, we're going to be straight.
Going to be straight. Fran Brown, obviously talking there, going to be straight. Fran Brown talking about the Syracuse Orange as they gear up for their first game of the season. Marc, just thoughts on, it seems as though there's some coaches who when they do press conferences, you wonder what's their confidence level actually? What do they actually feel? This guy, he seems to pass the eye test to me. When I hear him talk, I kind of believe him. I feel like our goal is to win a national championship. Whether they have the dudes to do it is another story, but he really does believe what it is that he's saying. At least it sounds like that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I think, he's got a fair amount of confidence. He's been successful kind of in the recruiting circles, and he's talked about the fact that, he loves being the Syracuse Orange head coach. Mm-hmm. So, it's good to have goals and aspirations, right? So it's not a matter of, hey, we want to be 500 or we want to be bowl eligible. No, they want to compete for and win for a national championship. And one point in time in the Syracuse program, going back a number of years ago, those were realistic goals. It hasn't been for quite some time. So you look at it, I think Brown is looking at this and trying to attack every single way in which he can. I think he connects with his players. I think he's got a game plan for Syracuse football and what he envisions it going to be. And he's trying to orchestrate that plan. And I had a pretty successful year number one. I expect him to be successful year number two. And if they're not, it's not without effort or trying.
Sure.
Absolutely. As you break down this ACC, this is everybody makes fun of Big Ten for it goes from literally New York to LA. There's the same ridiculously going on in this conference because you have Stanford in the same conference as Syracuse, and in my opinion, it's just such a hard league to try to predict who will do well. But based on last year and the great end of last season, where do you see the Syracuse Orange team falls in the pantheon of teams that are in this conference with all the kind of unknowns from the 57 teams that reside in the league?
Yeah, probably middle of the pack. I mean, it's crazy when you look at it, when you think about Oregon and Michigan, Oregon being in the same conference as Michigan, UCLA, USC. I mean, but that's where we're at right now, in college football. So you're not wrong. I mean, I date myself going back to the days of the Big East, and that was a hell of a basketball conference when it was a basketball and football conference, not just now, obviously, a basketball conference. And we see that, come the winter and the fall and the winter months. But when I look at it, the complexion, I think they're middle of the pack of the ACC. I mean, just like everybody else. I mean, I think the conversation starts in the ACC with Clemson, and their quarterback who's got NFL opportunities potentially following this season. And everyone's expecting Dabo Swinney's team to bounce back in a big time way. What version of Miami are we going to get this year after, really spitting the bit late in the season, having every single opportunity in front of them to potentially make the college football playoff? And Louisville's a team I find to be interesting. I think they've got a quarterback guru, a head coach. I think they brought, I think their offense is going to be able to move the football. So where do I see it? Syracuse and kind of the pantheon of the ACC. I think they're kind of a middle of the pack team. I think they could be a bowl eligible team if Angeli plays well at the quarterback position. This team gets better. The offensive line comes together and gels. There's a lot of guys from that transfer portal that came in during the course of the offseason. That's kind of where I think Syracuse football is. And I think they could surprise a little bit. I think you look at their schedule. I think it's workable. I'm interested late in the season when they have on Halloween, middle part of the year, I should say, on Halloween, when Bill Belichick and North Carolina are coming up to the Carrier Dome. I mean, I think that's going to be a very, very entertaining game. But it'll be interesting as a nearly 2-touchdown underdog going into this weekend, what they do against Heupel in Tennessee.
Do you think that number is high?
I think a little bit. I do. I mean, I think, as most people do, I think probably the best unit on the field is probably the Tennessee Volunteers defense and their defensive line. And I get a little bit concerned. And Jelly, I think, is going to pass the test at the quarterback spot. But there's a lot of guys that kind of have to come together from a gel perspective. When you look at Tennessee and you look at Aguilar now at quarterback, okay, how exactly is that going to look for Josh Heupel? How is it going to look now when you're looking at the running back room and the receivers? Are they going to be as dynamic as they were a year ago? The schedule is workable, but when I look at this matchup specifically, I can see Syracuse playing within the number. I'd be surprised if they won the game, but could I see the Orange going out there and making this, a 7 or 10 point deficit at the end? I could definitely see that.
Yeah, Patrick, we got to bring you in because I saw your face light up a minute ago. And Patrick, as we know, is from New York, upstate New York. He was a former Gananda Panther. Listen, and was a star baseball player, I might add there.
Where is Gananda?
Gananda? It's over in Rochester.
Gananda.
It's over in Rochester.
That's Rochester?
Yeah.
All right.
I say it with some Southern, some Gananda. That's how we say it in the South now. And his eyes a minute ago, although he is not a Syracuse graduate, of course, you're a recent West Virginia graduate, grew up a Syracuse fan. I don't want to speak for you there, Patrick, but
Mark,
you were a little
I'm sorry.
disappointed.
I know back in the Big East days that would have been that would have been a no-go. A Syracuse fan going to West Virginia, but times have changed.
But he's
when Syracuse fans used to go down to Morgantown, we'd have stuff thrown at us.
I'm sure a bunch of pepperoni rolls and stuff.
They used to pepper the buses with like oranges and stuff like that. No. West Virginia fans are nuts in a good way, but they're crazy.
Yes, I've heard that. I've heard about some of these tailgates, Patrick. I mean, things got a little wild, and Patrick was probably leading them.
No, I was definitely not leading them.
You better say that. But his eyes lit up a minute ago, Mark, when you said that you felt like, you wouldn't be surprised, or I don't know how you worded it exactly, but that Tennessee would walk away the winner of this game. Patrick, I know you've had some hot takes there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my delusion coming out. 13.5 point underdogs. I feel like that number is definitely on the high end. I feel like it should be more of closer to a touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're saying Steve Angeli, new offense, Syracuse lost Kyle McCord. I don't know. I would love to hear your take, but I feel like that number is a little bit high, especially with Joey Aguilar coming in.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I echo those sentiments. I think that I'd be surprised, but let me ask you: do you think they can win the game? Do you think Syracuse can win the game, or do you like them to play them within the number?
Oh, you got me there.
He's letting the fandom in him come out and say he wants it. His heart and his mind say two different things. Is what I'm viewing here.
Go ahead.
I think it's a lot of respect for the SEC. I think it's a lot of respect for Heupel in Tennessee. I think it's a little bit of disrespect on Syracuse and the ACC, and I get it. You got to go out there and you got to go and earn it. I do think the number is high, and I think Fran Brown's team. I think they're really well coached. I think they're going to come to it with a game plan, and it's not a Tennessee team without questions going into the season. And as we've seen so far, and I think as we'll continue to see, especially with the transfer portal, sometimes it takes teams, there's great unknowns early on in the season before a team can go out there and find themselves as well. So I would not be all that surprised if Syracuse gave Tennessee all they could handle on Saturday down in Atlanta. I really would not be. And I would not be all that surprised if that game's played within the number. I think it's a little bit of a bridge too far, even though I'm a Syracuse guy and a Syracuse grad, to think that they're going to go and beat Tennessee down in Atlanta.
Only some of us have loyalty there, Mark, because I opened the show talking about Bowling Green State University and my loyalty for the Falcons, because they did. I mean, my guy did nothing for their Syracuse when he went over there from Bowling Green a couple of years ago, but there's no regime there for the Orange. You don't have to worry about him anymore. So.
Well, Mark, then I'll ask you this. As I'm sure you remember last year, the Achilles heel to Kyle McCord in the offense was the Syracuse defense. I mean, it was awful. Have they improved at all heading into this year? Because I feel like if they have improved, then maybe they do have a chance of winning.
Yeah, I think have they improved? Like, I can't say with 100% certainty that by far they're going to be better. Like, I think it's one of those things where you got to see it in order to believe it. I think they addressed some of those needs in the transfer portal. Like, you look at it, there's guys from all over the country that have gone to Syracuse now and get an opportunity. So, I think they've got a safety, the defensive back they brought in from Georgia, and that pipeline is going to continue for Fran Brown based on the relationships that he had with the Georgia Bulldogs and the stuff that they did and the stuff that he did for that program. I think the defense will be a little bit better, given, I agree with you, how bad and how porous the defense was a year ago.
Yeah, Mark, before we let you go, we have to talk about something really important, and it's not football related. But, of course, my trip to New York it included several great things, and one of them is Citi Field. And so I just sent this to Patrick a minute ago, and I'm like, hey, I want to talk about the Mets, because the Mets, I did not get to the game until about the middle of the second inning of this game. This was on a Wednesday night. And the minute that I sat down, I would just like for it to be known, there was like 6 straight hits, maybe 5. Either way, the Mets go and win this game and then sweep the series, a big series. Patrick, who is a huge Mets fan, tells me. But that experience was really, really neat. The fireworks, everything. For somebody who's a big college football gal myself, it was pretty neat to be there in the Big Apple and see Citi Field.
Yeah, listen, the Citi Field's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's by far better than Yankee Stadium.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. My question, Simone, how did you get there in the second inning? I mean, it's Mets, Phillies. It's a big NL East rivalry.
Yes, and
how exactly are you showing up in the second inning?
And I have a really good
reason for that. I was
asking
her the same thing.
Okay. Jerry Walsh, who is an executive here at Nexstar, was taking a group of us out there. He flew in late. And although he is a huge Mets fan, we were kind, and we waited for him to take the 7 train, which, by the way, I learned all about that. So because Jerry was late getting to New York City, we were late to the game, although we can't be mad because it was his tickets and his tickets that we used. So we needed him to, he did send us the tickets. We could have left. We could have left and been there early.
Good friends.
And I will say this.
You're being good friends.
Joe's Pizza.
You
10
could
out
have
of 10.
met him at
I know, we should have. We were trying to be respectful of the positions of the host of the game. He did send us the tickets though. Last nugget on New York City, Joe's Pizza, 20 out of 10, totally worth having to wait in line for.
Oh, Joe's Pizza is great. There's John's of Bleecker. I mean, you could basically throw a dime and find a great pizza place. But yeah, Joe's is fantastic. Pizza in New York City is fantastic. If you ever been to New Haven, Connecticut, pizza in New Haven is great too. Frank Pepe's, modern. But yeah, here in the Northeast, I don't know how you guys survive down there in Alabama without great pizza, because I've gone down south before and had pizza, and it's really bread, cheese, and sauce. It's not really.
Mark, I'm struggling, man. I'm really struggling.
Yeah. Listen, we have good golf. We have golf year-round. There's that helps.
Yeah, there's that.
I'm not saying there's not good things down in
I'm just kidding. Listen,
down in Alabama. I'm just telling you, if you want a good slice of pizza, and sometimes you need a good slice of pizza, it's not down south.
Yeah, no, you're right. Honestly, in Chicago style, the thick stuff, pass on that too. This was 20 out of 10. And I was with Andrew Martin, who is our sports director in Sacramento. He's from New Jersey. So he's telling me we have to go to Joe's. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, there's probably going to be a line. I was like, okay, we passed probably 7 pizza places on the way to Joe's Pizza. No line, no nothing. And I'm like, man, I'm starving. There's pizza right here. It's available. I could literally just get the slice right there. He's like, no, we have to wait. So hangry women, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. It doesn't go well, but it was worth the wait is all I'm going to say. So.
Yeah, and never go to a pizza place in New York City where it's $1 a slice, or if there's a sign that says voted #1 pizza, because
they sell those at Walmart. Anybody can have those. Like, beware of dog. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's never the #1 pizza. It's like Elf when they're like the world's best cup of coffee, and it's like, no, it's old coffee. Yep. It tastes terrible. Yep. So, but yeah, I'm glad you got a Met victory.
It was
City
awesome.
Field, great ballpark, and you had great pizza.
Yep.
Can't beat that.
It was great.
Triple play. Okay, I have one quick thing. Was when I heard that you are a producer with Mike and the Mad Dog, I have a 2-part question. I know you get asked this all the time. Do you have a Mike or, hopefully, fingers crossed, a Mad Dog impression and or a great story? Because obviously those are like the godfathers of sports talk radio and everything that they've built. Over the course of the time, have you been able to do an impression of either one of those guys?
Well, I mean, Mike, you gotta like do the thick Long Island accent,
right?
And without further ado,
can you do? I can't do. I can't do the thick Long Island.
Definitely.
I can't do it. I wish I could. I can't do the thick Long Island. I mean, Dog is very. You kind of gotta have to get hyper. You gotta be like, let's see. Let me try and get there.
Break down that Mets game.
All right, everybody. How are you today?
Yes.
106 on this Friday afternoon. Good to be with you guys. That's terrible, but
Marc,
that's my best one.
You just purchase yourself a ticket for an appearance on this show whenever you would like, and so just add that to the long list of things you're already doing there at PIX, and just the several roles that you play right now.
No, listen, I'm happy for all your guys' success. Simone, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks,
Gerhard, nice to see you and meet you as well. And we didn't even talk Nolan McLean. Patrick was asking me about, can we talk?
Hey, we could talk some Nolan McLean here real quick.
Listen.
Yeah, we could talk a little Nolan
Let's talk some Nolan McLean here real quick.
He's been killing.
Very nice.
Yeah, Patrick. Listen, this is Patrick's show at this point, so I'm gonna hand things over to Patrick.
I mean, when you talk about a team that I guess you could call they were in a rut for the majority of June, all of July, all of August, and then they finally call up Nolan McLean, and then he just goes out and does this against the Phillies, and he's done this in his first 3 starts.
What is this here? Okay, tell us what this is, Patrick.
3-0 in his first 3 starts.
Yeah.
He's the first Met to win his first 3 starts. He's got over 20 innings pitched, 21 strikeouts, less than 1 ERA. Simone, you know what ERA is?
Yeah. Earned on average. Y'all come at me.
Go.
Listen, you know what? Come at me right now. Listen, I'm now that I'm a Mets fan because I went to a game
You went to
and they
one
won.
game. That
Okay,
doesn't make you a Mets fan.
Most, get off me. Get off me. Listen, I have a hat. I have a hat and I have a shirt. I'm Dominican. At this point, I've checked every box I need to. I'm more of a Mets fan than Patrick is.
You know, I asked her about the game, and she goes, I didn't really watch the game. I was just there to go take some cute pictures.
You know what? I did. I literally looked at the guys. I said, okay, I got to go do a photo shoot. So can someone come show me where some cute spots are for some pictures? And I'm not kidding. That's what we did. But I also got some great pizza at the game. It was like a little bit of a thicker slice. I got the Jumbotron.
Yes,
oh,
you
my
did.
gosh.
She got her first Lazy Mary experience.
I did this.
Oh, yeah. You got to do the Italian thing.
That's what I did. And then, and I was on the Jumbotron.
Tommy DeVito.
Listen, wait, who? Who is this?
Like Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
With the Giants.
Exactly. So there we go. And so, what do you think about McLean? Tell us your thoughts on that. Sorry, we're going back to that part.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mets. I mean, terrible performance last night against the Marlins, where they lose that game 7-4 and the 3 errors, 500 runs. But McLean's been great. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt. In the last performance against the Phillies was just off the charts. 8 innings, 4 hits, shutout baseball, 95 pitches, 71 strikes. And the ability to go out there and be competitive within the strike zone, throw 6 different pitches for strikes to be able to vary the speeds. And what's so refreshing about McLean is he's not relying on velocity. He's not relying on throwing the ball 99, 100 miles an hour and keeping hitters off balance. So it's kind of an old school art form to pitching. And tonight you get another one in Jonah Tong, another much ballyhooed prospect that gets a start tonight in Queens against the Marlins as the Mets have a 4-game lead over the Reds for that final wild card spot in the National League. So got to bury last night's performance because Patrick, that was terrible.
It was awful. It was like they were still thinking about that
get
sweep.
back in the win column later on tonight.
Yeah, usually I can just tell how the Mets are doing based on Patrick's body language when I walk into the office. So I don't really have to pay attention to what's going on with the games because I can just tell if he's in a good place or if he's not in a good place based on how the Mets are doing. Marc, what we're going to do is we're going to hit up Jerry for his tickets for all of us to be able to go to a game at some point. I don't know when.
Absolutely.
We're doing the show, college football is starting, but we are going to get a ticket out there to the Big Apple and be able to hang out with you guys and your crew there at PIX11.
Oh, I'd love to do it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, sign me up. Whatever game we're going to. If I'm going, can I ask you guys a question? Like, if I'm going to like a weekend barbecue down in Alabama, what's being served?
Listen, you guys can have your pizza, but you come here. We've got about 10 different spots. Dreamland, Saws, you name it.
Full Moon.
Full Moon. I could think 15
Jim and
places.
Nick's.
Just pack your big pants. Because you don't eat when you come see us. Like, pack the ones that are loose. Make you need a little room.
Yeah,
need a little room after you come out here to the deep south. Marc Malusis, the Moose. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And we're gonna bring you back on maybe on Monday. We'll see.
Absolutely.
If you're Syracuse Orange, who you have picked
If they
against,
win, I want an invite back on Monday.
You'll get one.
If they win, you are here on Monday without question. So.
I'll be dressed as Otto the Orange.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Marc, appreciate your time, man, from New York City, sir. And we will chat with you soon.
Have a great weekend. See you guys.
All right, good
Thanks,
stuff,
Marc.
man. That's probably the most Major League Baseball will probably ever talk. But at least I passed the test. My own producer trying to put me on blast here. What ERA is?
He was trying to lift you up. He knew that.
Hey, I remember our batting average conversation.
Listen, okay. You know what? All right, we're going to break right quick, guys. We got a lot more to talk about here on Southeast Sports Plus. Marc Malusis, appreciate his time. Moose, they're a legendary longtime sportscaster in New York City.